Coach, valiant effort there in the end, but just too big of a hole to climb out of, and just a really rough first half from you. I mean, what did you see in that first half, and what were the points of correction to try to get back in the ballgame, and really your assessment?
Yeah, I think this game for me was a lot like LSU, right? Where in the first half we didn't score. Thought we had a great set to start the game. We missed the layup. Came down again, missed the layup, and then next thing you know, I got to burn a timeout because they go on an 8-0 run. And we allowed non-scoring opportunities to affect us on the defensive end, like LSU. And then because we were in our feelings, next thing you know, a free throw line box out. Things are just absolutely unacceptable. And then the other thing is you got to tip your hat to Alabama because they shot the ball extremely well. So the effort that we didn't necessarily give in the first part and then allowing them to hit shots, I thought was the game. But to your point, I thought we did a great job fighting. But I also want to give a shout out to our marketing department because today was a special game. Today was bigger than basketball, and that's what I taught to my young women. That you know what, there's a lot of people who emailed me or talked to me, and they were fighting for their lives, and you had one responsibility today was to play hard. So I'm excited, not excited. I'm happy with the way they fought in the second half, but we didn't fight hard enough in the first.
Jacob in the back.
Coach, this happened a couple of times this season. You get a big win, and the next game you come out, you're down by 25 at halftime. I guess how frustrating is that?
Oh, extremely. Yeah, extremely. I mean, I kind of talked about this when we did the pregame media leading up to this game. Alabama was good. I talked about it. To me, that's a top 15, top 10 team in the country. All right, the record is obviously phenomenal, but the way you look at the course of the season, they've been missing Sarah Ashley Barker, who's a phenomenal player. All right, when they've got a full roster, I think what she had tonight, 19. All right, she's a matchup problem. They're able to make you really, really look silly and stupid. And again, I think because we missed some scoring opportunities and we didn't lock up, they capitalized, and that's what good teams do. I expect them to make a Sweet 16, even possible Elite 8 run. I think they got that much talent if they're in the right bracket. So you got to learn from this. This is the SEC, and we got to bounce back for the next game.
Go Sam and Benjamin.
With this just as the fifth loss in the last 7 games, what's just your overall concern level with this team right now as you kind of head into the final stretch of the season?
Well, no offense to you, but I don't even look at it in that phase, right? It's one game at a time, right? We're playing in the SEC. It's the toughest conference in the country. We've had some great performances, and then we've had performances, like I've said, with this team that you're right there with the top of the top that you show ooh-wee, and then you show some also moments that what is that, right? And today was, again, an example. When you play in this league, you got to break it for 4 quarters. So that's where my focus is coming out the gate, sustaining, hard work for 4 quarters to give yourself a chance at the end. And like I said, we got Vanderbilt, who's top 25. They're playing as good as anybody in the country. So let's see if we can't bounce back for this next one. And if it doesn't happen, bounce for the next one after that.
Yep. Go Benjamin then all the way across.
Yeah, Alabama has the top 3-point percentage in the SEC offensively. It seemed like maybe at times you guys had some struggles closing out or just leaving shooters in space. Where do you feel like that came from, and where the fixes need to come from going forward?
Well, I thought we did a great job on Nye early. She's the one who's a dagger, right? And then at the end, we're playing to win. Like I said, we could have easily just played your man and not scramble, but we were running a jump and we were trapping ball screens. We were trying to muck it up where we were trapping out of the zone, and when you do that, sometimes you leave people open and you take a chance. So some of their threes there, I thought in the second half were more based off of our trying to fight back, because I think we got it to, correct me if I'm wrong, 13. All right, we had a great steal. Jerk goes to late for the court, and again, it's that night. She misses a layup where that kid never misses it, and then unfortunately they come back and they capitalize. So that's a lot of that was just scrambling, tiredness at the end, and to your point and your question, I think that's why they got some of those threes.
Yeah, honestly, I think Benjamin just kind of asked my question. So
Okay.
I think,
Yeah. All right, we'll go to Robbie.
You touched on it a little bit, but just the inconsistencies, and it's not the same pattern. You've had really good starts and not as great finishes, and tough starts and better finishes.
Mm-hmm.
How do you find that consistency, and what do you feel like is kind of keeping you from being consistent for 4 quarters?
Well, I think for me, that's why we talked about in the Arkansas game. I used a timeout. I think we were up 20. I think you asked me this question last media, and they were like, well, why'd you use a timeout? It's because of our defensive stance. I think that's the consistency I'm talking about. You got to get defensive stops, right, in this league to win. And again, because we missed some layups and some open shots, I thought it affected us on the defensive end. And that's the parts where I keep on referencing this game, the LSU, the Kentucky, is okay, you didn't come out the gate and make shots. You got to have another layer and another toughness, and that's what I'm fighting with this team. And that's where we're not going to settle as a coaching staff to continue, because we've got great basketball ahead of us, to get an identity that's a little bit more tough on the defensive end.
Stanley Carla.
Yeah, you ended up calling 2 timeouts in that first quarter.
Yeah.
I wonder have you ever had to call 2 timeouts in the first quarter of a game, and was that just kind of your feel of where things were going at that moment, that it needed to be done?
Yeah, no, I not that I can recall, and honestly, I should have used a third. I'm gonna be honest with you, if I'm truly evaluate myself. It's just, I think there was a moment where, like I said, obviously we wanted it because the emotions. I mean, that bench with the breast cancer survivors had me in goosebumps, right? To think about what this game mattered and who we were playing for. And then next thing you know, they did a great job jumping on us 8-0. And then the next thing you know is the hustle plays, which were unacceptable. Kid goes diving out of bounds, throws it overhead. Those are 50-50 balls that you got to win. We dribble it up, don't have awareness, they steal it. Next thing you know, that's where I burn in another one, because obviously we didn't learn from the first time out. But again, for them to come out in the second half and make those adjustments, a little too late, but I hate that I had to use those two, but it's a game like that, I had to.
Carla.
Yeah, obviously a tough result, but on a bigger day, like you said in one of your first answers, it's a bigger day about basketball.
Yeah.
How do you feel like today's celebration of breast cancer awareness, how did you feel like it went, and how do you feel like maybe they should have more days like this in the future?
Oh man, yeah. No, I think we definitely need more days. Again, just goosebumps, because again, am I upset sitting here talking with you all? You better believe it, right? Do I want to win, and do the young women in that locker room want to win? Yeah. But again, sometimes in life we need to step away from sports. As much as we feel like it's life or death, it's not. All right, to have those breast cancer survivors who are sitting fighting for their lives, all right, and to be able to see the smile and the high fives and the joy that, they fought some hard battles and they made it. Just again gives you perspective for college kids that, there's bigger things out there, and that's why I love this game, and I appreciate everybody's support for a special night.
Any more questions?